Just thought I'd share a little story of my time in the Army and let you guys get to know me a little bit better. And not a bad day to go look around San Diego. There's the Coronado Bridge above me. Going out over to Coronado out that way. Pretty cool mural right here. Alright, so I wanted to tell you guys a little story about when I was in the Army, jumping out of planes. Our parachutes in the Army, you didn't have any steering involved. You weren't able to determine which direction you wanted to go. All you could do is kind of pull on your risers and let air out of the other side of the parachute, and that'll give you a little bit of a push in the direction that you're pulling. So one day I was coming in on a full jump with all my gear and weapons and everything, so rucksack fully loaded, just training, mind you. Cabriolet, huh, pretty cool. So I come in, I'm descending, and I'm looking down at the trees and the ground, and I realize I'm going straight backwards. And that's not good, because when we land, they say it's like jumping off of a 2-story building. And if you're going backwards, you have no option of rolling or doing a safe parachute landing fall. All you're going to do is hit your feet, your ass, and your head. I knew that's what was coming for me, so I'm thinking, oh, this is going to hurt, this is going to hurt, this is going to hurt. And boom, I hit the ground. The next thing I remember, the very next thing, I see a little bit of a pinhole of light, and I'm starting to realize that the pinhole's getting a little bit bigger, and I realize, oh, that's some bark on a tree. And then the tree starts to take shape, and the hole's getting a little bigger, and I realize, oh, that is a tree. And then I look down, and oh, I'm peeing on this tree. So I'm standing there urinating on this tree. I look down beside me, and I see my weapons on its bipods sitting at my feet right against my left leg. Check my cargo pockets on my pants, and in my right pocket I have all the air items that I'm supposed to take off of my parachute and keep with me, and they're all sitting there in my pocket like they're supposed to be. I look over to my left, and I see my whole company there in the rally point. I see a big stack of rucksacks, and I recognize one to be mine. So I'm thinking, okay, I got my rucksack, I got my air items, I got my weapon. I guess I'm fine. So I finish up what I'm doing, button up my pants, go back over to the rally point to my buddy Corey, who's standing there, and I say, hey Corey, did you see me turning my parachute? And he says, yeah. I said, I did? And he said, yeah. I said, who'd I turn it into? And he says, Burnham. Burnham was one of the medics in our company. He says I turned it into her. So I'm thinking, okay, I guess I turned in my own parachute. I've got all my air items. I got my weapon, which is the most important thing. I'm good to go. So then I take my happy self home and don't think anything of it. About 10 years later, I wake up from a deep sleep one night, and all of a sudden I remember. Now I remember what happened when I hit the ground. There was a big bang, which hurt like hell. And I remember laying there with my eyes closed, and the guy who landed nearest to me sees me laying there. As he's walking by, he asks, hey man, you alright? And I never opened my eyes. I just held out one thumb holding it up saying that I was good to go. When I heard his footsteps walking away, I said, all right, I can put my arm down now. Laid there for about another 10 to 15 minutes. And then finally said, all right, time to get up and collect your stuff. But for about 10 years, I couldn't remember any of that. It's pretty nuts. All right, let's get some pictures of the bike. Hi, doggy. Hi, buddy. Hi, Lori. Sorry. Alright, so if you guys remember the little piano bar scene from Top Gun with Maverick and Goose, that was filmed right here at Kansas City Barbecue here in San Diego. Downtown right there. Food's pretty terrible though. It's cool to go in just to see the scenery, but the food sucks. This is our county administration building over here. I almost got a job there. Glad I didn't. Now I work for the city, which is much better. At least for me, because I'm right next to my wife's office. Pretty old building. Pretty neat looking though. You guys recognize this intersection if you watch Boris and Ghost Ninja. They stop here all the time. Always get stuck at the red light making a left. So here's the harbor. We're coming up on the airport over here to the right, but all this harbor to the left is just gorgeous. Yeah, so going back to my story about the jump that I had where I lost consciousness and totally forgot a section of that for about 10 years. It was determined that I had obviously a concussion, but had a traumatic brain injury as a result of that jump and a couple others. So while I tell anybody that's considering joining the Army or going airborne, I tell them it's some of the most fun that I ever had while I was, you know, growing up, but it's not for everybody. So, you know, strongly consider your options. I kind of wish I'd gone to college, but I'm really happy with the experiences I've had. military is a good thing for a lot of people, and for some it's the worst years of their life, but there's no comparison to the camaraderie and the brotherhood, the closeness of the friends that you make while you're in the Army, or any military branch for that matter. When you're willing to give up your life for the guy standing next to you, your bond becomes all that much closer. Alright you guys, I think I'm gonna let that conclude this vlog for today. So a little story about my time in the Army. I've got plenty more. If you want to hear more about those, let me know. If you have any questions about the Army or really anything that I've done, you can put those in the comments below as well. I hope you guys liked it. Doggy! Couple cool pirate ships and old cargo ships in here. If you want to tour the submarines, go look at Ghost Ninja and Boris on Bikes videos of those. Pretty sweet. My wife and I went on those and did the tour. I could never be deployed on one of those things. Just way too small. No thank you. And here's a real ship. USS Midway. It's a pretty sweet tour as well. Oh, also I forgot to mention, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but trying out my cell phone as a second view. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. I love how the street just ends right into a freeway on-ramp.